Oh my goodness, finally, y'all, it's coming to a close. Not only for the Baltimore Ravens, but also for the Buffalo Bills as well, because tonight we finally get to hear who the official NFL MVP is. Not from sports bettors, not from Nickelodeon, not from fans, not from PFF, and there ain't nothing against any of those people. But tonight, directly from the NFL, we get to find out if Lamar Jackson will win his third MVP, which is crazy, and his second MVP in a row, which is wild, or if it's going to go to Josh Allen. This has been a conversation especially amongst Baltimore and Buffalo fans all year long. And I know a lot of y'all have been exhausted from this conversation. We've had the conversation a lot. A lot of people have had it even more, especially you go on Twitter. Oh my goodness, all year long. But tonight, it finally comes to a close. And this is something that we've been waiting on for a while. I mean, we've been waiting on a Super Bowl for a while. We're still waiting on that, and we'll get there eventually. But with this is one of them things where it's like, hey, I'm leaving out of here with something. Like Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, they lost to the Bills. Josh Allen and the Bills, they lost to the Chiefs. So somebody getting ready to come out of this season empty-handed, and the other guy will not. Now, what's interesting is that I'm no better. I don't get into betting, gambling, none of that stuff. But I do know that the odds earlier this season, they were heavy for Josh Allen. They were like, oh yeah, Josh Allen, he the favorite to win MVP, especially because before it was Lamar. Early on in the season, it was Lamar. Even after that 0-2 started off a little shaky, but then Lamar, he started rolling, and boy, it's like, ooh, a third MVP for Lamar Jackson. Okay, let's go. So first it was him, but then, and Josh Allen was like right there though. He was right behind him. He was close. But then what catapulted Josh Allen ahead of Lamar were the wins over the Kansas City Chiefs, who were the number one seed at that time, and they would remain the number one seed throughout. But also the win against another number one seed, the Detroit Lions, and that really pushed Josh Allen heavy. I remember watching both of those games, especially the one against the Lions. I'm like, Lion, like, come on now. Like, get it done. But anyway, so that really catapulted Josh Allen ahead of Lamar. Because those were some signature wins. Like everybody says, signature wins. Because it's not all about the stats, as we know. It's not all about stats. It's about stats, but it's also about wins too. But then Lamar Jackson, he continued to do his thing. Even in some off games, he continued to do his thing. And then, like, when we would watch Lamar Jackson, it's like the expectation level for him with us is so high. Because I would see so many times, well, not so many times, but it would happen where Lamar Jackson would have a game, and stats don't mean everything. Stats are not, they don't tell the whole story. But there would be a game where Lamar Jackson would have like 2 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnover, and people would be like, oh, Lamar Jackson, he had a bad game today. So it's crazy. Because like it's like we know he's such a great player. He's such a great player, and the standards that we hold him to can be very, very high a lot of times because we know what he can do. Especially this year, we find, oh my goodness, Lamar, he took it to a whole nother level. But anyway, Josh Allen had those signature wins over the Chiefs and over the Lions, and that really pushed him in the forefront. But then Lamar, the way that he closed the season now, because Josh Allen, he kind of cooled off a bit, and Lamar, he started heating up even more. That pushed Lamar ahead. So then the odds went in Lamar's favor towards the end. But then they were still very close because there were still some people saying, oh, Josh Allen, he going to get it. Oh, no, Lamar going to get it. And it was so close. So then we kept hearing about all the odds shifting to Josh Allen. But where things got very, very interesting was when the All-Pro list, when that came out. And with the All-Pro list, it's from the same voters who vote on the MVP. And with the All-Pro list, at the head of the table, it was Lamar Jackson, not Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson was on the first team All-Pro list, and Josh Allen, he was not. So then the odds shifted again. They were like, oh, well, usually with the AP voters, if they vote you all pro, then you're most likely 9 times out of 10 going to be getting the MVP. But then, and the voting was done too. So the MVP voting was done when they announced that all pro list, and that's like real deal. Like Pro Bowl is cool, Pro Bowl is fun. It's over in Orlando. You can go to Disney World after or whatnot. Disney World is great too, by the way. Y'all go if you haven't had a chance to. But anyway, Pro Bowl is fun. It's fun in games, but AP all pro, it ain't no games with that one. That is the real ballers. It ain't popularity votes. That's like, hey, who is who in the NFL? And it ain't no offense to anybody who doesn't get on the list, because they're obviously a bunch of ballers in the NFL, because you got to be a baller to even make it to the league. But all pro list, it ain't no games with that one. That's real deal. So with that, with the all pro list having so much to do with the MVP, people were like, oh, well, Lamar Jackson about to get it. But then afterwards, the odds shifted again. And they were like, oh, well, Josh Allen, the odds shifted to Josh Allen. And this happened like a couple of weeks ago again. Like the odds shifted to Josh Allen. Oh, Josh Allen is a slight favorite to win the MVP over Lamar. But then like a couple of days ago, they're like, oh, it shifted again. Lamar Jackson is the favorite now to win it. And it's like, oh, I was just so tired of seeing it. I'm like, let's get to it. When are we going to find out? But tonight will be the night that we do. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos, where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send a DM directly on Patreon with your question. And if you'd like to join them, become a part of that, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. Let's get straight into it, because we got a lot of questions. First one came from my guy Bilal. He said, greetings, my friend. He said, my brother, I see you doing it again. That being not receiving your flowers. I'm not even being extra or just trying to pump your head up, man. You're so talented and anointed, my brother. Besides my dad and brother, no lie, you're the most humble person I've ever seen. That is a very special, underappreciated, and great character trait to have. Not going to go into my usual spiel, but I always have to greet you with much respect and love, simply because you never know what people are going through. I agree with that, and I appreciate that. I really do. And that's something important, and it's crazy, because we always, like, in life, we get reminders of that all the time, in so many different ways, man. Because you could be talking to somebody on the street, somebody you never met before. They could have, like, we had went out to eat the other day, and it was me, my wife, my son, and daughter, and some guy just came up to us, and he was like, who worked at the restaurant. He wasn't our server or anything, but he just came up to us, and he was like, how old is she? And we like, oh, she about 8 months. And he was like, you should watch these videos. I forgot what he said, but they're on YouTube, and it helped my daughter out, learn so much from it. But just looking at his face, like, it just seemed like he just needed an outlet. And it just seemed like him having a conversation with somebody like that gave him a big boost. Not even that it was going to come from us, but it just seemed like he just really needed somebody to talk to. I even remember this past Sunday, I saw 2 of my friends talking, and both of them, they deal with depression. And I saw them talking, and one of them I hadn't seen in a long time. And every time that I talk to him, I just send him a text, say, hey, how you doing, whatnot. And it's never really a good response, because he's really dealing with that, and that depression is a real thing. But when I saw his face, and I saw them talking from a distance, so I was like, let me go say what's up to them. And I saw his face and his eye. He just looked drained, man. That was my first time seeing him in person in a long time, but he just looked super, super drained. So I went over to him. I said, what's up? Gave him a hug. And I told my wife, I said, he looks rough, man. He looks rough. And it broke me down too, because I hate seeing him like that. Because with him, I don't know how long he's had the depression for, how long he's been dealing with it, but it's like I remember when he was happier, when he was like, I don't want to say normal, but when he wasn't really suffering from the depression. And I just remember how his personality was back then. And there were like little signs here and there that the depression could have been on the way, but I ain't really think nothing of it too much back then, because I just thought that that's how he was and whatnot. But to see how he was before, always happy, always joking, always like making jokes and stuff, always in a good mood and whatnot, to see how he's been recently, and it's been for years, it sucks, man. So yeah, be good to people, man, because you really don't know half of what somebody's going, or some people obviously you will because you talk to them and on a regular, but a lot of people that you encounter, you just never know. People are going to get mad at us for whatever. Like, you could be on the street, people could be blowing their horn at you while you're driving and whatnot. You could go to the store, somebody can give you attitude and whatnot, and it's so hard not to give it back. It really is. Oh, that's one of the hardest things. I struggle with it. I know a lot of us struggle with that big time. It can be so hard not to be nasty to somebody back when they're nasty to you. But everybody going through something. So many people, everybody going through something. Everybody got stuff that they got to deal with. Everybody got different pressures in life. They got different stresses. They got all this stuff that they got to deal with, and it sucks. So yeah, I appreciate you bringing up that point because it's real. Anyway, he said, and as always, your beautiful family is forever in my prayers. So please, man, I just pray you pat yourself on the back one day. Again, you're awesome, brother. On a side note, I see you're a wrestling fan. Not to get off topic. We get off topic all the time. It's okay. He said, but that would make my day if just for one day or maybe beyond, you talk wrestling with us, man. I've been a fan since the age of 4. Oh, man, with wrestling, when I was younger, oh, man, I loved it. Then in high school, kind of like got away from it. I was like, whatever about it. Stop watching. But then after high school, actually when me and my wife were dating, I started watching a little bit, and then we went to WrestleMania in Miami. And I didn't really know nothing about much of the people. I knew who Undertaker was and Triple H and Shawn Michaels. I knew them, but John Cena, I didn't really know who that was. Obviously The Rock, that's the guy. But it was fun. And then years later, we also went to a sale match, and that was also in Miami. And then we went to WrestleMania in Orlando, WrestleMania, I think 33. And that was whatever year that was. And Carter was right there with us too. He was a little baby. I had him up on my shoulders. It was cool. It's so cool, like seeing it live. But yeah, man. So anyway, he said, to get into my question, I know we have a lot of unknowns right now, but if you were the GM, what would you prioritize more, a game wrecker at pass rush or a game changer at wide receiver? Wow. Both things that can make a big difference for the squad. Wow. Wow. Because we haven't had a game wrecker at pass rusher since Terrell Suggs. And again, Adafeway has made plays. Kyle Vanoy obviously has made plays. But like somebody who would just wreck a game, like wreck it, that would be crazy. That'd be nice too. But then you think about a wide receiver, game changer at wide receiver. Like, because Zay Flowers, he's nice. Rashad Bateman, hey, he showed out this year. But if we could add to that and get oh man, that's a tough one. Wow, and y'all know that I've been wanting that for Lamar for a long time, man. I just feel like there's really no wrong answer because both of them, like, both of them. Oh, but he said, what would I prioritize more? If I was a GM, don't make me no GM because I'm greedy, man. I'm spending that money, draft picks. Bye. See you. I ain't giving them all up, but so I'm trying to get both. Like, I'm trying to Eagles this thing, man. That's Howie Roseman. Like, yeah, that's how I would try to be. Like, I would really try to like find some of the best as much as I possibly can, man. Because their corners, they got a rookie corner, Quinyon Mitchell, who's been balling. They got Darius Slay, but then they got Cooper DeJean. They got Reed Blankenship. Those two boys, they like, hey, they showing out the little Jason Sehorn. They showing out, man, and they in the Super Bowl. But the Eagles, they built that offense and defensive line like crazy. But specifically with the defense, we're talking about the defense. That defensive line is crazy. They nasty. So that makes everybody behind them job easier. So, hey, it's like, hey, you get a game record there. Oh, ooh. But then on offense, they got game changers there. Because they got a Saquon Barkley. Like, how do you get all of this stuff everywhere? You got Jalen Hurts, who's on he ain't on a rookie contract. Then you still got A.J. Brown. You just paid him again. You still got Devontae Smith. You just paid him too. So you paying some guys some premium dollars, baby. So you got both. So both can be prioritized, in my opinion. So that's the beauty of it, man. He said, those are usually the top positions I see you speak on, and I'm not convinced I can guess because of your passion. So he said, correct me if I'm wrong, but I know your top choices are Max Crosby and DK Metcalf. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. And I know we ain't going to get both. We might not even get one. We probably won't even get one of them. But, oh, that would be so nice. That would be so nice. I honestly think the Ravens have a higher chance of getting a Max Crosby than they would a DK Metcalf. Just to be straight up with you, I think they would have a higher chance of getting him than DK Metcalf. Because Ravens, when it comes to special players like that, they obviously prioritize defense over offense. But anyway, he said, but I just need to know what my guy GM Ingraven would do. And as always, it's beyond a pleasure, friend. And to get off topic and to give a shout out and pay homage, it's about time to yeet. Oh, okay, that was it. Yeet. Okay, I see you. But anyway, he said hello. He said, love you, man, bro. Until next time. Hey, yeah, that's called his favorite, man. Shout out to that boy, Jay, man. How does that saying go again? You look good, you feel good. Well, Chubbies, they got me doing exactly that. I got on my Chubbies Friday shirt right now, and I dropped the button just to make it look extra good. And it's not only lightweight, but it's comfortable as well. See, Chubbies is where comfort meets game day vibes. So whether you want to go to a sports bar, if you're on the way to brunch, if you're getting ready to tailgate, or if you're on your way to whatever stadium, Chubbies will have you looking right. While we're heavily invested in the game, our teams got us stressing out, and we screaming, jumping up and down, going crazy. We want to make sure we look good while we doing all of that. First, let me tell you about the shorts. Boom shakalaka. My favorite part, especially if you're going to be wearing them for tailgating, they're stretchy. These original stretch shorts put Chubbies on the map for a reason. They're available in 4-inch, 5.5-inch, and 7-inch inseam length. So it all just depends on how much of them beautiful thighs you want to show off when you're wearing them. And when you pair those shorts with these Friday shirts from Chubbies, ooh, it's game over, my friend. And you know, here at Team Keep It Clean, we always talk about how much we love versatility, and that's exactly what these shirts bring. From casual button downs to more retro inspired prints, these shirts are built for acting a little crazy, or if you want to take a more chill approach. Either way. Now, since I know you know this looks really, really good, imagine how much better it will look on you. Now, how can you get your hands on some Chubbies clothing? Well, you know, I gotta let you know, Chubbies is here to help you take on 2025 in style, starting with the comfiest, most versatile gear you've ever worn. For a limited time, our friends at Chubbies are giving our listeners 20% off with the promo code Ingraven20 at checkout at chubbyshorts.com. That's 20% off your order with the promo code Ingraven20. Support our show and tell them that we sent you. No matter where 2025 takes you, Chubbies has the gear to keep you comfortable and looking your best. Next question came from my guy Jarvo. It's always funny because my guy Jarvo, he'll send a question, and then maybe like an hour later he'll send another one, and then maybe like a couple days later he'll send another one. So a lot of times when I'm going through all my emails, I'll just filter them out by going to unread emails and type in Jarvo, and it'll usually be at least 3 at a time, like it is right now. So shout out to my guy, man, because when he think of something, he go, boom, you know what, I'm sending this email. So appreciate you, my friend. He said, first question, he said, to bolster our offensive line, how do you feel about getting Zach Martin or bringing Kevin Zeitler back? Oh, the return, huh? Do what you got to do, because the offensive line, they could take some big hits this year. To 2 starters. So that's very, very significant, both on the left side. So we'll see what they do there. But Zach Martin, I think he was like contemplating retirement. I believe it was Zach Martin that I read that about. But we'll see. But yeah, whatever they got to do to have the best offensive line that they can possibly get, because the offensive line wasn't even their best last year, and Derrick Henry still got 1,900 yards. He still got 1,900 yards. Lamar Jackson still threw 41-4. It's crazy, man. So it's like you look back at scenarios like that and you think, oh my goodness, like that's wild, but that's great. So imagine if the offensive line was even better. He also said, give the Browns what they want. Give them those picks and a Jarvo, because I want to keep Adafe away. I wouldn't be mad at that. And a Jarvo, like for him, new scenario could work out. And I think that he could possibly still get traded. Because Ravens would have to put friendship aside, because we know they Dafe away and a Jarvo, they went to the high school together, they friends. That's cool, but it just ain't worked out, man. It really hasn't. Second round pick a couple years ago. First year he was hurt majority. Then he came on, it was looking like, we got somebody for next year. But then next year happened. I think he got hurt again, but then he just really wasn't doing much of anything. And then this year it's been the same. So I could actually see him getting traded for maybe like. If they can get a 4th, if they could get a 4th for David Ojabo, I actually think that would be a win. Just because of how his career has went. If they could get a fourth, I think they'll be. If they could get a third, I don't think they're getting a third though. But if they can get a fourth, I think that will be a win. But I could see him being traded for like a fifth and seventh draft pick, something like that. So anyway, he said, once we get Miles, let's talk to the Rams about Cooper Kupp, Jets about Devontae Adams, or Seahawks about DK Metcalf. See, that's what I'm talking about. I like that. My guy Bilal was just talking about prioritizing, but you see, this is what I'm talking about. You ain't got to just pick and choose one or the other. Like, you could do more than one. I love that. And he also said, what are your thoughts about Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry opting out of the Pro Bowl? It's a Pro Bowl. They done been there, done that. They don't care about that. They like, what's the point? They made it to the Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl is on their resume. It's there. But they like, we ain't doing that. We don't feel like it. We done been to Orlando before, especially Lamar. I mean, living in South Florida, Orlando, like right up the road for us. But while I'm sure they appreciate the honor, but they like, it is what it is. He said, do you think we go for Khalil Mack since we signed Chuck Pagano, who coached Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack in Chicago? Oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, wow. I did not think about that at all. Now, he is the secondary coach, but that could be something. That's an interesting point. And he said, would you... Now, Jarvo, you know the answer to that question, man. You know the answer to that question. Oh, he said, or would you rather go after Max Crosby? Now, Jarvo, I know you already know the answer to that. Next question came from my guy, Maceo. He said, good morning. Just wanted to say thanks again. I know it's tough to get on the platform and speak after a tough loss, but you still brought the energy that Ravens fans needed, even when it hurts. It's all good, my friend. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. He said, hats off to you for that level of dedication. And trust me, you'll hit 100K subs in no time. Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see. Anyway, he said, as for the game, I'm not upset, just frustrated. I feel you. I was both. Because it was like, man, like you just really like, oh, yeah. Like for me, I really thought this was the year for sure. Everything makes perfect sense. It's all on. But no, it didn't happen. And it's like, really? And with this year, it was just like, it was like a thought early on this season. It was like, come on now, like, if we don't get it done this year, then what? Like, what will the issue be? But then I thought we weren't even going to have that conversation because they were going to get it done this year. And they didn't. So we're here now. Anyway, he said, let me know if you agree with me here. I really hate when the Ravens get down because they seem to panic. I wouldn't say that. In some ways, yeah, because they can start neglecting the run game a little bit. That's when they can really remove Derrick Henry from the games if they are down sometimes. But this year, we've seen them be down. We've seen them be down multiple scores too, and we've seen them come right back. So it's with the Ravens. I just felt like that panic. It was a thing of the past, and it did. Again, they did start missing. Derrick Henry would go MIA when they were down a lot of times, but I just felt like they were able to handle being down a lot better this year than years before. But he said when John Harbaugh called for the 2-point conversion early in the game, I thought that was a bad decision. I didn't. I still don't think it was. I get what everybody was saying though, especially in hindsight. But again, there were some people that said it when it was actually happening too. But I thought it was a fine decision. It was a good play. It just wasn't executed good. But anyway, he said when John Harbaugh, he said if they had kicked the extra point, the score would have been 21-20, and they could have trusted the defense. Going for two that early was a bit much. I just wish someone would remind them that there's still time in a game. I feel you. And it's one of those decisions where it's like, oh, man, you look back and it's like, oh, what could have been? And he said, it seems like no one else is talking about that except for Skip Bayless. What do you think? Thanks for reading my question. And I'm out I'm just out. Oh, yeah, he wanted to say I'm out like the Ravens. Oh, yeah, that's something right there. Again, for me, I didn't have an issue with it. I understood, but I know some people say, oh, you was chasing the points too early. So I get both sides of it, especially after looking back at it and whatnot. Can't say that. But anyway, so hey man, like Ravens had so many opportunities, man. They really did. We obviously wish it wouldn't have came down to that 2-point conversion, but it did. And we know what happened. We remember what happened. We all get reminders of what happened all the time. But it's just one of them things where there's so many different contributing factors to why they lost, how they lost, the reasons that they did not beat the Buffalo Bills. But hopefully after tonight, we will have a one-up on the Bills for this one.